Coming up on Arirang News, South Korea confirmed 4 more cases of the novel coronavirus on Thursday, pushing the total number up to 23. China, meanwhile, reports a total of 28,000 cases and more than 560 deaths. President Moon welcomes a so-called Busan-type job creation proposal and vows efforts to spread Busan's economic vitality to the whole nation. And after a months-long impeachment process, the U.S. Senate has cleared President Trump of both impeachment charges against him. It's 4 p.m. here in Seoul. Thanks for tuning in to Arirang News. I'm Kim Mo-gyun. Let's start with the latest on the novel coronavirus outbreak. South Korea confirmed 4 more cases today, raising the total number to 23. For the latest, we have our Kim Jae-in on the line for us. Jae-in, tell us more about the latest cases.
Mo-gyun, the Central Accident Prevention Division said on Thursday 4 new cases were confirmed in the nation, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 23. Around half of the confirmed cases have been person-to-person infections or people who have entered Korea from countries other than China. Of the 4 new cases, 1 is a Chinese woman who arrived in South Korea on January 23rd as a tourist. The other 3 cases are Korean nationals who are either family members or have had close contact with other confirmed patients. All 3 have been in self-imposed quarantine prior to being diagnosed with the disease. The 20th confirmed case is a 41-year-old woman who is a family member of a previous patient. She is now being quarantined at the Korean Armed Forces Capital Hospital. The 21st confirmed case is a 59-year-old woman who came in contact with the 6th confirmed patient. The 6th confirmed patient contracted the virus from South Korea's 3rd confirmed patient while sharing a meal. She is quarantined at Seoul National University Hospital. The 22nd case is a 46-year-old Korean man, the brother of another patient who had recently been to Thailand. He is now being quarantined at Busan University Hospital in Gwangju.
Now, on a brighter note, we hear that another fully recovered patient will be released from the hospital today. She'll be the 2nd coronavirus patient in South Korea to have been discharged from the hospital. Is that right?
Yes, Mo-gyun. A 2nd patient will be released from the hospital today. She is a 35-year-old Chinese woman who flew in from Wuhan. She's also the first patient to be confirmed with the virus in South Korea. She had been quarantined at Incheon Medical Center for 18 days. The Central Accident Prevention Division says she was tested multiple times and all the results turned up negative. She reportedly left a note thanking the doctors for saving her life and their meticulous care. This comes a day after the 2nd confirmed patient in South Korea was released from the hospital on Wednesday. The 55-year-old Korean man made a full recovery 13 days after he was confirmed to have the virus. He was also tested multiple times, and the results all turned up negative. And authorities said he poses no human-to-human transfer risk. That's all I have at this hour, but I will be back with more updates in our later newscast. Back to you.
Thank you, Jae-in, for that update. And as of Wednesday night, China says its death toll from the coronavirus outbreak hit 563. Other countries are no exception, with rising numbers of confirmed cases. Our Hong-yu has this report.
China's National Health Commission announced on Thursday that the total number of deaths caused by the coronavirus has reached at least 563, and that more than 28,000 people have tested positive for the virus. This comes after 73 deaths and almost 3,700 cases were reported throughout the country on Thursday. Most cases and deaths were confirmed in Hubei province, the epicenter of the outbreak. Across China, more than 3,800 patients are in critical condition, meaning that the number of deaths could drastically increase over the coming days. Wuhan, the city where the virus broke out, is making efforts to accommodate more patients, as officials say there still is a severe lack of beds. The city is trying to set up more temporary hospitals, converting convention centers, hotels, and schools into treatment centers. In Japan, the country with most coronavirus cases after China, 12 more cases were confirmed on Thursday, bringing the total there to 45 cases. 10 of those 12 new cases were people who had been aboard the quarantined cruise ship that is now docked at Yokohama. Around 3,700 people who had been on the same ship will be quarantined for at least 2 weeks on the ship, while the confirmed patients were moved out to medical facilities on Wednesday. Singapore has 28 confirmed patients, followed by Thailand with 25. Other newly confirmed cases were also reported in South Korea, Hong Kong, Australia, Malaysia, US, and the Philippines. 2 patients in Italy, 1 in France, and 1 in Thailand are known to be in critical condition. Hong-yu, Arirang News.
To deal with the deadly virus, the World Health Organization has requested hundreds of millions of dollars in extra funding. This as health authorities around the world are scrambling to find a cure. Our Ki Seung-jae reports.
In an effort to tackle the outbreak of the novel coronavirus worldwide, the World Health Organization on Wednesday requested $675 million to further fund its plan.
Today we're launching a strategic preparedness and response plan to support countries to prevent, detect, and diagnose onward transmission. We're requesting $675 million to fund the plan for the next 3 months.
While the $675 million request is hardly chump change, the WHO chief says the message the international community is to invest today or pay more later, referring to how much more it would cost down the line if no action is taken now. As for where the funds would go, the WHO says some $60 million would fund the organization's own operations, while the rest would be used to help countries that are especially at risk from the coronavirus. According to the WHO's constitution, the organization is funded through contributions from member countries, and the amount is determined based on the respective country's wealth and population. The organization also receives voluntary contributions from donors, as long as they match the objectives and policies of the WHO. However, the WHO downplayed reports of a drug breakthrough against the coronavirus outbreak, saying there are no known drug treatments at the moment. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
South Korea and Japan are holding working-level talks in Seoul today on their months-long diplomatic spat over wartime history and trade. Seoul's Director General for Asia and Pacific Affairs Kim Jong-han. The meeting is his Japanese counterpart right now as we speak, the first such talks between the two sides since mid-November. The diplomatic row began when Tokyo slammed South Korean Supreme Court rulings that ordered Japanese firms to compensate Korean victims of Japan's wartime forced labor. According to Japanese broadcaster NHK, the two officials will also talk about the coronavirus outbreak. In other news, after a months-long impeachment process, U.S. President Donald Trump is now cleared of both the impeachment charges. Our HeungMin has the story.
One of the biggest hurdles has been cleared for President Donald Trump, who's seeking re-election. The Senate declared President Trump not guilty on the 2 charges against him, abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. For the first article, abuse of power, 52 senators voted not guilty and 48 voted guilty. For the second article, obstruction of Congress, 53 voted against and 47 for.
And 2/3 of the senators present not having found him guilty of the charges contained therein, it is therefore ordered and adjudged that the said Donald John Trump be, and he is hereby, acquitted of the charges in said articles.
It all ended the way many had predicted, wrapping up the almost 5-month-long impeachment proceedings led by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Senator Mitt Romney was the only Republican to break ranks from his party as he voted against Trump on the abuse of power article. Shortly after the results, President Trump took to Twitter to say he will be making a public statement at noon U.S. Eastern Time on Thursday to discuss his victory. He again called the process the impeachment hoax. Democratic Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said the acquittal was one of the largest cover-ups in the history of the nation. With Trump's acquittal, no president has ever been removed by the Senate in the 3 president impeachment votes in U.S. history. A day earlier, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi sparked controversy after she tore up her copy of President Trump's State of the Union address at Capitol Hill on Tuesday night. Prior to his speech, Trump turned away from Pelosi when she was extending her hand for a handshake. Democrats celebrated her move as an act of defiance, but the White House called the move a tantrum. White House counselor Kellyanne Conway said she believes Pelosi should be censured by the House or the Senate should pass a resolution to denounce her behavior. HeungMin, Arirang News.
In sports, Tottenham Hotspur South Korean forward Heung-min found the back of the net for the fourth straight match on Wednesday night, scoring his team's winner against Southampton. Son's penalty on the 87th minute helped his team clinch the 3-2 victory in the fourth round of the FA Cup. He was awarded the penalty after goalkeeper Angus Gunn brought him down in the box. Son is now the top scorer in the FA Cup since the start of the 2016-17 season, netting 11 times in 17 appearances. Tottenham will face Norwich City at home in the fifth round of the FA Cup in March. A Pegasus Airlines plane flying to Istanbul skidded and broke up after landing on Wednesday, killing 3 people. The Turkish health minister said the incident also injured over 170 people. The plane, a Boeing 737, skidded off the end of the runway while landing and split into 3 pieces. Authorities say poor weather conditions seem to have caused the accident. It was carrying 177 passengers. In the wake of the coronavirus outbreak, local firms are going through some tough times. So the Korean government announced some plans to give them a helping hand. Our Jaein has this story.
A South Korean firm that produces chemicals needed for the manufacturing of displays imports ingredients from China.
Currently, our company's dependence on Chinese firms is very high. If we run out of the materials that we already have, our factory operations could be slowed down.
The official said he believes that other industries in South Korea, including automobile and semiconductor industries, are having similar problems due to the coronavirus outbreak. A domestic enterprise that manufactures fire extinguishing equipment relies on a Chinese factory to make their new product. But an official from the company said that he doesn't know when the Chinese factory will restart operations.
We originally expected to generate 25% to 30% more sales this year compared to last year, thanks to our new product. However, if we cannot get our product from the Chinese company, we are likely to suffer a 3 to 4 billion won loss.
The official said the South Korean government should step in to help resolve the problems. The government plans to support local small and medium-sized firms that are going through difficulties due to the coronavirus outbreak. Related ministries formed special task forces to tackle the situation and will provide around $211 million in financial aid to local firms that have been affected.
With the Ministry of SMEs and Startups, we're planning to provide financial support to minimize the economic impact on small and medium-sized firms. Our goal is to implement it from next Monday.
Aside from the financial aid, the related ministries set up 32 centers across the country to help resolve damages and are planning to send 10,000 masks to South Korean factories in China this week. Jaein, Arirang News.
Universities here in South Korea are canceling entrance and graduation ceremonies over fears of the coronavirus. And this is having a knock-on effect on small businesses that rely on such events. Our Choi Jung-yoon has this report.
Universities are locking their gates to stop the spread of the coronavirus. One university in central Seoul is a famous tour spot for its historical buildings. But tourists are being stopped by the guard in front of the main gate. Some are turning back and just taking a few pictures outside the campus.
I'm actually want to go in to have a look on the building historical. But when I'm here, saw this sign, cannot go in.
Under normal circumstances, tourists are able to enter the campus. But with new coronavirus fears amplifying, the university has been restricting outsider access since last Thursday. Schools are canceling big events as well. In order to minimize large gatherings, universities have canceled or delayed graduations. Hanyang University announced it had canceled its graduation in a bid to stop the virus from spreading. But students who've been waiting for this once-in-a-lifetime moment say it's disappointing.
My parents were really looking forward to my graduation. It's the end of all my hard work over 4 years at university. I was hoping to wear a cap and gown and take pictures with my parents. Canceling the graduation seems like an appropriate measure, but I am personally disappointed.
With schools calling off one of the biggest events of the year, small business owners are taking a hit. Photo studios, which are usually at their busiest at this time of year, have no reservations. Flower shops are also seeing customers cancel pre-ordered items. One flower shop situated on campus has had dozens of cancellations just this morning. Normally, they make over $25,000 of sales around graduation season. They say they are having difficulties handling the flowers they have already purchased and arranged.
This is the time we've been waiting for since last year. We have prepared all the flowers for graduation. We are devastated and completely blank.
Each university is taking a different approach to prevent the disease from spreading. Some have even installed heat cameras to monitor students' health. Universities are also considering delaying the spring semester by a week or two. And some schools have canceled their entrance ceremony and orientation for new students. 최정윤, Arirang News.
Time now for an in-depth look at the market news. And for that, I'm joined on the line by Dr. Kim Se-won, Professor of Economics at Ewha Women's University. Professor Kim, thank you for coming on today.
Good afternoon, Morgan.
As you've mentioned, the coronavirus outbreak is spreading worldwide with the anticipation over the development of new vaccines to cope with the epidemic. U.S. stocks saw a sharp rise on Wednesday. Professor, take us through the global markets today.
Yes, U.S. and European stock market rallied on Wednesday, and that largely recovered the losses by China's coronavirus outbreak. The speed of virus spread is slowing down, and the possibility of, as you talked about, developing medicine for coronavirus is increasing. So because of this, Dow Jones Industrial increased by 1.7%, which is a huge increase in a single day. And S&P 500 also increased by 1.1%. And also additional factor of the rising global stock market, including U.S., was the very strong job growth in the United States. U.S. economy added 291,000 jobs in January, which shows very robust employment growth.
Now, stocks in South Korea also started off with extended gains this Thursday. What exactly was the story on the Kospi and Kosdaq?
The positive factors that we talked about the global stock market is also affecting Korean stock market today. Particularly, domestic institutional investors and foreign investors became the big buyer in today's market. So because of this, Kospi increased by 2.9%, one of the largest increase in a single day in the last 5 years. And Kosdaq also increased by 1.7% for today.
And Dr. Kim, South Korea's current account surplus narrowed sharply in December from the previous month. The surplus last year was the slimmest in 7 years. What do you think is the reason behind this, and what should we focus on?
According to recently released trading data of Korean economy, the trade surplus of last December of 2019 was positive. So this means that Korean economy had 8 straight months trade surplus and 22 straight years trade surplus on annual basis. This continuous trade surplus is actually very rare in other countries. But the problem is the size of trade surplus is declining because export is declining faster than that of import declining.
Yes, and global credit rating service provider S&P forecasts that the novel coronavirus outbreak could threaten Asia's economy. It warned that the outbreak could affect the asset integrity of Korean banks, too. What do you think about this, and how should we be prepared for it?
The impact of China's coronavirus outbreak is particularly serious on Korean economy because Korean economy is highly dependent on Chinese economy as a whole. The coronavirus spread in Korea decreases naturally domestic consumption because people buy less goods and services, and then households' income decreases. Then finally, Korean households are burdened to pay interest on their huge debt over 1,500 trillion won increases. And this is going to be a crucial risk factor for domestic commercial banks because the main revenue of commercial banks comes from banks' mortgage loan to households.
As China's commodity demand has been slowing recently, it's dealing a blow to Korea's manufacturing sector. If this continues, many say the impact could spread worldwide. How much impact will this have on the global economy?
Actually, it is too early to put out numbers on coronavirus outbreaks' effects on global economy. But the good benchmark for this estimation is 2003's SARS outbreak in China, which decreased global GDP by $40 billion. As of now, Chinese economy is actually 4 times larger than that of 2003's. And Chinese corporations became more important in global production chain today. So this time, coronavirus impacts on global economy is much larger than 2003 SARS.
All right, Professor Kim, we'll have to leave it there for today. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing your insights. We'll appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
President Moon Jae-in has welcomed a large-scale job creation project at an electric car cluster in the southern port city of Busan. At a ceremony on Thursday, Moon said that the Busan-type job creation proposal is great news for the economy, which is facing difficulties due to the novel coronavirus outbreak, adding that the country must focus on sustaining economic vitality.
부산에서 시작된 경제 활력의 기운이 전국으로 퍼져나가 신종 코로나 바이러스를 이겨내고 상생도약 할 수 있도록 지역과 함께 국민 여러분과 함께 힘차게 뛰겠습니다.
The new job plan calls for auto parts company Korans and its suppliers to invest over $640 million over the next decade and create some 4,300 jobs related to the manufacturing and R&D of electric car parts. It is the biggest investment Busan has attracted since a massive investment by automaker Renault Samsung Motors 25 years ago. The project, the government's signature job creation model, is the 7th of its kind, following those in Gwangju, Miryang, Daegu, Gumi, Hwangsong, and Kunsan. The average starting salary for college graduates at South Korean firms this year is expected to be about $28,600. That's according to online job portal Incruit, whose survey of 831 firms that plan to hire new employees this year found that the average starting salary firms are willing to offer is about $1,260 higher than last year. Large conglomerates were willing to offer a starting salary of roughly $33,500, which is up about 11% compared to last year. Switzerland reports a mad cow disease case at a local farm. This is the first case detected in years. The World Organization for Animal Health said on Wednesday that the country found the disease in a 13-year-old cow at a farm in Einsiedeln. The organization says this was the first case reported since 2012. That brings us to the end of this newscast. Thank you for watching. More live news coming your way at 7 p.m. Korea time.